Hello and welcome back to Chasing Trophies, and the FPL edition is back. It's that time of the year where all the boys in our WhatsApp groups are just going to be asking us about the FPL teams, what transfers to make, which players to take in. And Fez is joining me today. Today is a very interesting topic. We'll be talking about Erling Haaland, and you must be thinking I'm crazy, like saying how can you take him out of your team? But you have to understand that Erling Haaland is 15.5 million in the game. That is a lot of money, and for that, you have to make some sacrifices. So there's two strategies right now, Faz. If we look at it, people who are going Haaland in, and there's some people who are going Haaland out. The Haaland out, basically, what they're doing is they're doing a bench boost in game week 1. So for the bench boost, they're spending more money on their bench, obviously getting more players in 6 million, 7 million range, so that they're also going to be starting and they can also get them points, in that first game week. If you pick Haaland, then you can't really bench boost because your bench will be a bit weaker because you have to pick cheaper players in that situation. So that's what it is right now. And I find it very interesting. The other thing is the reason why people are also trying to go Haaland out is because they have a captain in Bruno Fernandes, where Man United have good fixtures. And this is what is happening right now. So are you Haaland in or out right now at the moment?
At the moment, why? I mean, I think Haaland in because of the output potential that he has, right? If you don't have there's always that thing, right? Like Haaland will always outscore the whole team. There's a probability, and he is a talisman. Like he is the center for now. It is also going to be interesting because it's not a Pep Guardiola Man City. I think that is also why this chatter is coming around way early into the game, and I think a lot of people now have started focusing on chip strategy. That's where a lot of people lost the game last year, right? Like I think triple captain. Personally, I've gone through it. Pep Guardiola screwed my triple captain when he benched Haaland, and I think now people want to get that chip strategy up and going. And bench boost is one of those things that you want to really get out of the way. It's something that people actually don't consider, but actually it's a very important because even you had a very good bench boost last season, I think. And I think the strategy of the opposition is very smart. That considering that the games on hand that we have, United has Hull City, I think, and they have a few other easier fixtures in the top. I think Ipswich भी है उसमें. So yes, that's a very good strategy. But for me, it's just like Haaland versus, like, I think Bournemouth is what the first game City is playing, and the statement that they want to make. You saw Haaland got a chance even against Arsenal in that Community Shield. I know 15.5 is a lot, but there are very few assets. So it's like you can rotate this whole team around Haaland, right? Like I think you can trade Bruno and Haaland will be your set and forgets, and those are your consistent point getters. Now, that's where I'm looking at it right now. That probably keeping Haaland would be a choice because if the bench pool doesn't go in there, then I'm probably walking with a lot of points. So there's always that risk of not playing Haaland.
Yeah, basically you're going with the intention that Haaland will get me the points that the bench will get me,
Yeah,
if he scores two,
yeah,
three goals like that, and which
exactly.
is, I think, there's something I'm leaning towards as well. But if I'll go through like a non-Haaland draft, and this is Ben Crellin. He's like he was FPL number
Yes, yes.
one formerly, and he's very famous in the FPL world. He has Raya goalkeeper. Then his defense starting 11 is Gabriel Mosquera and Luke Shaw. It's going triple Arsenal defense with Raya over there as well. Then you got Bruno Fernandes, Soboslai, Mbemo, Palmer, and Ndai. So you already see that midfield is beefed up. You've got Palmer and Bruno Fernandes, who are a bit more expensive. Then you got Soboslai, Ndai, and Mbemo. These three will start as well for the respective teams. I know Ndai has this transfer kind of thing, but right now it looks like he's staying put. If he stays put,
Yeah.
then he's going to be on set pieces as well. So that's why he's there. And then up front is João Pedro and Richarlison. If you look at the bench, he's got Sherpen as the backup goalkeeper. You've got Nico Williams. Calvert Lewin is there. So Calvert Lewin is normally, a lot of people are also looking at him as a
Yeah.
third type of striker. So you got Calvert Lewin and Decipher. So this is his 11 right now. Now where he can change this up, he can bring in Isak as well. Now it's a punt if you bring in Isak. Isak, we don't know what Liverpool are going to bring in everything, but Isak could be an option if you don't want to go Richarlison, if you want to go someone else like that. But this is, if you look at this draft from the outside, you're like, oh my god, like it doesn't look good without Haaland. But if you see, there's starters over there from 1 to 15 who can get you points, and that is why they're going with this kind of situation right now.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Now the key over here is, I think, what they'll have to think. Which is probably easy as well. How they get back to Haaland, right? I think till the bench boost is there, everybody's going to be like, yeah, man, Haaland, like screw Haaland. The game week 3 aata hai, aap bench boost khele to now the strategy. I think here you can now. But if Palmer does well and if Bruno
Yeah.
does well, like just say now you're in a pickle that I Haaland kahan se layenge wapas hum log. Yeah, you'll be happy, but there's always that thing that Haaland gets one hat trick, he'll come back, right? Like, and now
Yeah.
people are predicting him to be the golden boot considering his World Cup performance and his Instagram, nice, kind of comments. I think if he gets a hat trick in one of these two games, you're on the back foot. Now, how do you get back? Early transfers करना पड़ेगा आपको. Do you go back to that thought process of wild card again early on like last year? आपको याद है game week 3 में सब wild card कर लिए थे.
Yeah.
So
So that
there
is
is a
what
yeah.
what they're planning. So these kind of people like Ben Crellin, what they're doing is they're going to their strategy is to bench boost and then to wildcard in game week 3 or 4. So they're not gonna keep Haaland away for too long. They're just
Yeah.
going they're going with the gamble. Up, FPL is also about gambling. You have to take risks somewhere. So
100%.
they're going with the gamble that the first couple of game weeks he might be a bit silent, and at that time let's capitalize on points. If he does score in those game weeks, then they're gonna get him back anyway. So they're looking at it
Yeah.
like that, like we are going to play an early wild card, and it's actually bench boost is something. The reason why they're doing it first game week, they feel that the first game we can have the best squad right now available. We can have the most expensive squad. Now, if you look at it from the other side, like our argument would be that we don't exactly know who's in form. I know we have a
Exactly.
slight idea ki, ye goals mare ye wo, but like you just want to get a feeler of what's happening in the Premier League. So what me and probably Faz is doing, we're going to just see what's happening in the first 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks. Then if we need to play a wild card, we'll play it, and right after that we'll play the bench boost. But otherwise, right now it looks like we just want to see who's doing what. Whereas these guys are probably taking the gamble that yes, we're just going to have more players that can get us more points in the first game week itself.
Yeah, and that's absolutely like makes sense. I think from that point of view. But for me, like Haaland will get you a penalty. Haaland will get you the main number of shots.
Yeah.
If he gets one touch, like Arsenal के game में भी अगर वो गोल चला था, maybe a lot of people would have thought otherwise because it's a Maresca system. Because Maresca doesn't usually entertain just the striker, but I don't know how Maresca will play with having a Erling Haaland, a proper target man. Uh, does he change his tactics? Does he involve more? Does he ask the wingers to cross it or square it more to Haaland? Yes, there is a little bit of uncertainty there, but penalties मिलते हैं हमको. You will be able to get a shot here and there. Now bench boost आगे जाके भी I think there is an opportunity for it where you can always win back those points like that. So I think we would take it more traditionally, but I think this approach right now does put me also in another direction, right? Like I think it also tickles with your mind कि भाई शायद हो सकता है that we may also go. But I think right now where I'm looking at it, 15.5, the form of Haaland from the World Cup that we're seeing, I would not mess with that. First game hat trick अगर आ गई, City को map में लाना है, and I think they will be roaring to get like a couple of goals here and there just to make sure that Arsenal doesn't feel satisfied like okay we're running away with this, what the narrative is saying. So I think we have to think it from two ways, fantasy and actual football as well, like the table and what City would want to present. So I think City will be hungry. And right now, apart from Haaland and City, maybe you'll see like Semenyo and thing, but who else is there? Maybe a defensive unit like Guardiola, maybe. So I think I will say put right now with Haaland, and I agree. Like there is that counter argument, but we just don't want to immediately put off our chips very early. Those chips चले जाएंगे आपके 3 weeks, 4 weeks में.
Yeah, if I made this argument 1 month ago, you'd think I'm stupid. Like why is
Yeah,
there why are we
exactly.
even talking about no Haaland? Because when a World Cup में हर match में goal मार रहा था, obviously gonna keep him in the team. But then once the Community Shield happened, and when you see the main argument is that Bruno Fernandes is a captaincy pick. So the thing is now the dilemma that me and you have is right now if we are going with Haaland and Bruno Fernandes, our main dilemma will be who is our captain. Whereas these guys know exactly their captain is Bruno Fernandes. Now if you tell me that Haaland is getting 3 goals, so I'm gonna captain him. But if Haaland gets 1 goal and Bruno gets 1 goal and an assist, then I'm missing out on those points. You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
That's where me and you will have to think very deep and hard into the night who our captain is. That's where we have to make a decision. When you have 2 elite players or 2 players of that pricing, then you have to basically choose your captain because we need Haaland to give double returns of Bruno Fernandes every single time for us to justify our captaincy, in the sense that to have a good return, basically, right? If Haaland scores 1 goal and Bruno scores 0, that's a good week for us. But if Bruno scores 2 goals and Haaland scores 1 goal and we didn't captain Bruno, we're kind of screwed, even if we have Haaland, because that's just 1 goal. So that's where the confusion comes in.
Yeah, I think Dan. Yeah, I mean the pricing, like you said, is 3.5. I think the difference and stuff it will come into, but the thing over here is like if we have Haaland and Bruno both score on that day, and then you're going ahead of a lot of people.
But it depends on how much he scores.
How
So if
much he
Haaland
scores.
scores 1 goal, if Haaland scores 1 goal, but what if Isak also scores? Somebody has Isak, someone has like a João Pedro, someone has a Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison. If you have a third striker, if Haaland is just matching them, then that's not good enough for us. We need Haaland to
100%.
beat those guys.
Yeah,
So
bang. We need Haaland to bang. 100%. Uncertainty
basically,
to
Haaland
काफी.
yeah.
Yeah.
दो गोल चाहिए रोज.
हाँ, दो दो
That's what we
दो दो
need.
चाहिए रोल. और आई मीन अनसर्टेनिटी तो दूसरे कैंप से भी है. जाओ पेड्रो वर्ल्ड कप पर से नहीं खेला है. आई नो विल बी हंग्री टू गो, बट वहां पे भी नया, लाइक देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ अनसर्टेनिटी अक्रॉस द टेबल. सो नाउ इट्स अ पॉइंट के do you stay with the people that you know, or do you try to gamble on someone like who's relatively new in that, taking your main forward in an FPL wala situation.
Yeah,
So I think there's two ways to go about it, and I think they're very two interesting ways.
yeah.
But right now it
And
feels like Haaland is more like, हाँ भाई, I know this guy can do it. If there's
yeah.
anyone who can do it.
Basically, if you now I'm just looking at the draft, right? Basically, it allowed him to get Gabriel as well. Gabriel is what,
Yeah,
like 8 million, right? So
exactly.
yeah, so it allowed him to get Gabriel. It allowed him to have Bruno and Mbemo,
Palmer.
Palmer, João Pedro. So you have like a more, basically you have solid positions. You have solid players in each position. That's what it
Yeah,
allowed him to do. Because I was looking, like, that's what I'm saying. When you look at the draft even more and more, then you realize actually this is a strong team. In the beginning you're like, यार ये क्या है, मेरी team better है, Haaland भी है उसमें ये वो, but it allows you, like, no, for example, if Gabriel gets him a clean sheet and a goal, Mosquera
exactly.
gets a clean sheet, Raya gets a clean sheet, that's automatically like triple the points that Haaland is
Yeah,
gonna get. You know what I mean? So that
yeah.
that's
I
how.
think it's spreading your eggs in a lot of other baskets
Yeah,
rather than just
basically that's
keeping
what
it
it is.
one.
Just spreading your risk over there. So that is
Yeah,
why it kind of makes sense. But we'll think about it. Obviously, I think
100%.
me and you are probably sticking to the Haaland thing, but we'll think about this draft as well. It looks tempting right now, and this is why I wanted to discuss it. This is why you
Yeah,
guys also should hit the like button, subscribe button, comment also, because
yeah,
we get to share our thoughts. We're still making our teams as well, and it's a fun time. So we get
yeah.
to discuss these things, and we look at we pick each other's brains, and then obviously you make your decision and see what happens.
Yeah, 100%. I think यार ये तो बहुत fair argument है. Now it's about, do you trust Haaland that much to give your whole team's command in his hands, plus a Bruno Fernandes. Now वही है कि यार with United and stuff, there is also a bit of uncertainty. So there's a lot of things that are right now gauging in your mind as well as you progress to the first game week. Arsenal is playing Coventry, I think, and
Yeah.
that is going to be an interesting one for Arsenal. अब Ezra Konsa, Mustafa भाई यहाँ पे आते हैं, and now does that throw you off a bit? That Gabriel, is he going to be
Yes,
more
it does.
selected for Champions League? Is he going to be rested? Konza and क्या बोलते हैं आपके Mosquera खेलेंगे क्या mostly Premier League to handle the pressure, or do you think Gabriel will play all Champions League, Premier League games?
I think
But yeah,
Mosquera is
right.
the problem now, not Gabriel. Gabriel will
That's true.
still start.
Yeah,
I think
rotation हो जाएगा.
we all are putting Mosquera in the team, or like I actually have gone Calvin Fury right now. As of now, I've gone Calvin Fury,
Yeah,
not Mosquera. So but the problem is with both these defenders. With Calvin Fury, he can get rotated with Hincapié, right? I call him
exactly.
Hincapié. He can get rotated with him. Mosquera now with Konsa, he might not even start. Like he'll start the first two game weeks, and then I think third game
Once
week
Saliba
Konsa
comes
will
back, then
come in.
that's also a problem.
That's also a problem. Right now, I think Gabriel is the safest pick actually from all of them, but he's too expensive. I think he's going to be the least rotated. They're not gonna, like, in the beginning of the Champions League is not gonna happen until September. This the first 2 3 game weeks, Gabriel is gonna stay put unless something happens to him, which is unfortunate. But right now,
Yeah,
the problem is Mosquera and Calvin Fury is the rotation risk. Mosquera तो for sure I think 2 game के बाद उन्हें बैठ जाएगा कौन सा के लिए मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है. That's what I feel right now. So that is one thing. And yeah, man, I think we can discuss more about other things in our next videos. But
yeah.
my main thing over here was basically just
Haaland.
having an argument, is there a life without Erling Haaland? And now it looks like there could be a life, but just if you want to choose that life or not. If initially you
Yeah,
want to go with Erling Haaland or not, let me know. Let us both know in the comments if you're going right now. We're both Haaland in, but if you're going Haaland
yeah,
out, let us know how your team looks like and if you're happy with that team. And it's just a matter of strategy. I don't think there's any right or wrong in this. You need a bit of luck also, right? Like
yeah.
sometimes, if Haaland takes a penalty, he scores that, we succeed. If he misses that, you succeed. It's that kind of situation. But yeah, make sure you guys are joining us for the other content as well. Thank you, Faz, for joining
Thank you.
today, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Take care, everybody, and bye bye.